What is up, YouTube? So it's been a couple weeks since the Chattanooga 70.3, and just wanted to give my thoughts and a quick race recap on how my day went. It was really hot on May 23rd, which I was not expecting at all. I mean, leading up into the race, it's nice and cool. I remember a couple days here in Atlanta, it was in the 40s in the morning, and that's freezing for Atlanta in May, but whatever. Turned out to be a really hot one. But you play the cards you're dealt with. So anyway, did my usual thing Sunday morning. Got up at 4 a.m. Drank a lot of coffee. Ate a lot of oatmeal. Went to the bathroom a lot. Get down there about 5 a.m. And I know they were going to walk everybody down, over a mile to the swim start. But I didn't expect them to start talking to people at like 5:45, telling people, hey, you got to get down there. It's time to jump in the water. So I was freaking out a little bit. I didn't really have much time to prepare. I think I made like 10 minutes to get everything on my bike ready to go. But whatever. Got in the first wave, second wave, started walking down, and I realized as I'm walking down that I forgot my swim cap and my swim goggles. So I run back to my bike, grab everything, running back out. They got you going through a maze now. So it took me 5 minutes to get back, and it's in the dark, and all of a sudden, boom, I just bit it. And I bit it hard. I mean, fell down, busted my toe. I'm bleeding, and I'm like, oh, God, this hurts so bad. For a split second, I was like, do I quit? Do I just call it a day? My foot was throbbing. I'm like, you know what? Just walk down there. So I walked down the swim start. Saw some people I knew, some buddies. We all line up. I look down. It's bleeding. Not terribly, but it's bleeding. I get in line, get my wetsuit on, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And I jump in, and I feel the little skin just dangling. I'm like, great. So I'm swimming. I'm like, this is annoying. I'm like, I'm going to have to swim with one foot. I can only kick with one foot. Whatever. I'm swimming. And I'm swimming. I get past the island. I realize maybe 10, 15 minutes in, this is not a fast swim. I'm just feeling like this is not going I'm swimming Chattanooga. This is not going as fast as it normally does. And sure enough, I come around the corner, jump out of the water, and I look down at my watch, and I'm like, 34 minutes. All right, just roll with it. Get out of the swim, run up to the road, run in the transition. Legs are heavy. I'm struggling getting the wetsuit off. And I'm like, I can't find a cord, whatever. Some guy runs past me. I'm like, no, I got to keep up with this guy. So we run in transition. I grab my bike, and there's a hill going up. As soon as you exit transition, so I'm like, last time I raced, I bit it, and I went straight into the one of the cracks, broke my front wheel. So I'm like, don't do anything stupid. So I jump on my bike, get going. I'm like, all right, not putting my shoes on until I've been riding for a little bit. And so I finally get over the cracks, get over the hill, start going down another hill. And then I put my shoes on, and I'm like, all right, it's time to go. And the game plan was just go as hard as I could on the bike and figure out the run, when I got there. So that's kind of what I did. I mean, I put my head down, riding through Chattanooga, kind of almost have to ride like a road bike and get out to Georgia. I'm like, man, this feels good. And I'm putting down 260, 270, 280. And I'm just mowing down people. Me and the guy that I ran into transition with kind of just like trading back and forth. He'd pass me, I'd pass him. And then we come up to another couple guys, same exact thing. And then it was pretty much that way until we get to Andrews, which is where the big hill is. And then once I get to Andrews, I'm like, I got to get away from these guys. This is my opportunity. And so I just put down about 600 watts, climbing the hill, trying to get away from them. I'm like, as soon as I get to the top of the hill, I'll be able to recover all the way down. sure enough, I get away from them, but then all of a sudden, we get to the stop sign and like they're with me and there's more people with me and I'm like, oh my god. So I tried to put in a surge to have these guys fall off, but I just realized they're all about the same speed as I am. And so I said, you know what? You guys can do all the work. So I let them pass me and I sit 12 meters back. I mean, in the train, there was about 6 of us and everybody's keeping it legal. And I'm like right on the back and I set up and drank and ate. And I mean, when you're sitting on the back of the very back of this train, 12 meters apart from everybody, you're still getting a draft effect. I mean, the pros complaining about it constantly, but I'm playing the game, so I'm like, let's get fresh. These guys are going as fast as I'm gonna go by myself, and so I just let them pull me pretty much all the way into Chattanooga. Once we get into Chattanooga, it started breaking up. There was one guy in the middle fell off, and then I passed him and get out of Chattanooga, get out of Chickamauga, and I'm like, all right, same thing. Get to the top of this little hill, and there's a mile recovery, and hit the top of the hill, or maybe like a half a mile recovery. Get to the top of the hill, and then you're just flying, doing like 40 miles an hour. I think I hit like 42 miles an hour going down that hill. And then, go around, and then all of a sudden you're at the bottom of, you're at the bottom where the Dollar General is, and there's an aid station right there, and you turn right, and you go back into Chattanooga. And I was feeling good right there. I just put my head down. By this time, it was me by myself. There's nobody past me, nobody behind me, and I'm just like, let's just get on back the transition. Get into Chattanooga, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're on St. Elmo, and then that kind of sucks. St. Elmo is a road that's beat up. You're like, you're hitting not potholes and cracks, and they got they have a bike lane, but no, I would never ride in that bike lane. Maybe with a mountain bike, but not with a triathlon bike. So anyway, finish up, coming in and into transition, and I'm still rusty, and so I come all the way down to where you dismount, and I'm like, full brakes. There's no flying dismount for me right now. Maybe not this year, maybe next year, but for me right now, I just want to get onto the run or get onto the bike safe and sound, not have to worry about like crashing or anything like that. So anyway, we're in a transition, and coming out, my legs feel a little heavy, which they always do. I mean, after you ride so hard for 56 miles, you're gonna have some heavy legs, but that worked out after maybe like a quarter mile. They made us do like a big old maze around the transition and then run us up away from where the run course is and then back down. And I come out running with one guy that was, with me the last 10 miles or, all the way through Chickamauga. And I'm trying to run easy. I was trying to like run away from people, but still trying to run easy. And this guy was running my pace. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to sit in and I'm going to run with him for a couple miles until I can, get my sea legs back and, start feeling better. Because it was getting hot. And those last couple miles on the bike, I was starting to I could feel the heat, And the last thing I want to do is blow up on the run. So anyway, we're running. About 4 miles in, get onto the river walk, and then that's when I see a guy that I know is in my age group, and I'm like, oh man, this guy is flying. So I'm like, all right, Art, I gotta go. And so I take off and pick it up to about 6:30, 6:40s, and I'm running well, and then this guy just blows past me, like I'm standing still, and I'm like, well, I can't keep up with that. He's running like a 6 flats or 6:10s, and I'm running like 6:40s. So make the first loop. I'm still keeping him in my eyesight. Then I see a buddy of mine, as I'm getting on the river walk for the cycle loop. And it's about mile 7, mile 8. I'm feeling good, but I don't see the guy in front of me anymore, and I don't think he's going to come back to me. And I asked my buddy Marcos, I'm like, how far back am I from second place? And he's like, 4 minutes. And I said, what about fourth place? And he said, fourth place isn't even registered yet. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to sit here and cruise the rest of the way. And that's kind of what I did. You know, I ran the second lap. I didn't really start feeling it till the pedestrian bridge. But by that time, I realized I wasn't going to catch second. And fourth was way behind me. And so I just kind of took it on in, saw the finish line, and I'm like high-fiving, tapping people's hands. And, man, it felt great. So that's my race. You know, like I said, it was hot, you know, but that's Chattanooga. You know, I would bet on being hot more so than not. And I mean, the current sucked. I'm not gonna lie, it sucked. I thought I'd be sub 30 on the swim. That was 34 minutes. 34 minutes on the swim, 2:19 on the bike, and I think a 1:31 on the run, which put me around 4 hours and 31 minutes. I guess Chattanooga is not a PR course anymore because, I mean, that swim is just, I mean, I guess they're going to slow it down from here on out, you know. So now we're looking at 1.4 miles, and even with a tiny current, that's still going to be, you know, slower than, you know, 1.2 mile swim. So I'll take it. It's Chattanooga. I love this race. Anyway, that's my race recap. Next race is going to be Ironman, Indiana. So probably not going to do much or hardly any racing, probably zero racing for the rest of the year until October, because that's the goal. You know, I want to qualify for the big race in, you know, Hawaii. And the only way to do that is make that my priority. So I'm skipping Worlds, you know, and I am going to do Boston, but that's just going to be a fun run just to say I did it. But the goal here on out until October 2nd will be Ironman Indiana. So every weekend it's going to be long, hard bikes, long runs, you know, during the week. My coach has got me doing crazy work, all in the effort of, you know, getting me to where I need to be, you know, hitting that goal. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave me a comment. If you raced, let me know how you did. I put together a bunch of videos. Hopefully some of those helped out. Some of them didn't. Maybe you don't like hearing my voice. Sometimes I sound crazy. But anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.